It is time to welcome in our friend, former Tennessee Volunteer forward, Ron Slay. You can also catch him on 104.5 The Zone. Let's dive right into it. Tennessee Volunteers, disappointing loss against LSU this weekend, Ron. And I know that there has been some talk about just the inconsistency of play with some of these veteran guys.
Yeah, that's been a problem. You get a guy first team all conference in Fulkerson, defensive player of the year in Pons, who's been doing his job, Pons has. But when you go to Fulkerson, a guy, when your preseason first team all SEC selection, it's some different expectations that come with that. You know, you're a guy that you're supposed to be relied on regardless, whoever you're playing, Gardner Webb, Elon, Kentucky, Florida, it don't matter. You gotta bring it to every night. And he hasn't been able to do that. Now, what going forward is going to be difficult if he doesn't, without having that front court impact. So that's going to be big time for folks and to get out of whatever slump he's in and get back to playing a
Yeah,
consistent basis.
I think eight points in the last three games, Ron, for Fulkerson. You've played the game. I mean, do you get in slumps? Is that a thing? Is it a mind thing, or is he just not able to figure things out right now in another capacity?
Yeah, I think more so it's mental than
Mm-hmm.
anything. You know, with him, I really don't know what's going on behind the scenes, but I know as a player, you go into practice and you try to get out of the slump by going as hard as you can, tiring yourself out, getting that second win, putting yourself in situations that you know you're going to be in the game. And once you start getting that confidence in practice, which they haven't had a lot of because of the COVID and things of that nature, you start to get that translated to the game. And that's one thing he has to do. If he gets over that mental hurdle and whatever it might be an injury. This coaching staff is a staff that doesn't let things out like we learned late with Lamonte Turner last year.
Mm-hmm.
He was fighting an injury a long time and still leading the league in assists. That's the consistency. Now you got Fulkerson on the other hand, if he is hurt, he has to battle out of it because the team depends on him.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, a positive with this team is clearly the younger guys. You've got a guy like Keon Johnson. You've got Springer. They've combined for 74 points in the last three games. Can
Right.
this younger group keep that up?
I think so. I think so. With all the weapons that they have around them, it only gives other guys opportunities. That's Victor Bailey Jr., Josiah Jordan James, Santiago Vescovi. You
Hmm.
give those guys time to thrive and catch fire also, along with you doing what you're expected to do. You know, with the court opened up like it is, they're getting it in transition. They're getting there on penetration, getting their shots off. And none of these plays are being called by Coach Barnes. These are free flowing plays and they're taking their opportunities. So it's not anything I can see being done to kind of stop where they're going as far as them trending up. But the impact of the front court, I think, is going to rely a lot on them being able to continue to blossom throughout the rest of the season.
After the loss to LSU, Rick Barnes said in his press conference that the defense is an issue in terms of at least consistency, and they seem to have struggled when they face teams with that good guard play.
Yeah, you're exactly right, Kelly. And the thing is, you saw it in the Kentucky game
Hmm.
when they play more physical by stopping guys for giving them direct line drives to the basket and stopping them with the body instead of trying to reach in there, stopping them with your arms. They got back to doing that against Kentucky, and that's why that game was that way. You see this against the LSU game, and guys are standing attached to their man on the help side and trying to reach in there and stop him. Javante Smart was he was just abusing them. You know, we see that against Florida. We see that against Missouri. You see that against the top-notch teams that have good guard play, and they got to get back to it being laser focused in the entire game, regardless of having a good game and then coming back and being able to repeat that.
I don't know who it was on your team, but you always kind of need that alpha dog, or even if it's a couple guys. Who is that guy on this team, and how much do they need to continue that role here down the stretch?
Well, first of all, Kayla, I like you to take a wild guess and think who that guy
I
was
knew
on my
it.
team. But hey, without a doubt, man, it's got to be Josiah Jordan James. To me, he has a vocal leadership about himself. He's physical. He goes out there and gives it all on the court, and his teammates can see that. He's a guy that guards 1 through 4. You would like to see a guy like Eves Pons do it, but he's not that vocal guy. He's a guy that leads more by actions. I think this is the time when you need a guy to be able to not necessarily jack you up, one of the players and let them know, but be able to voice your opinion and they believe in it and they hold them accountable at the same time. So Josiah's a guy that I think does that for them.
I mean, it looks like this team will make the NCAA tournament. Nothing is ever guaranteed, but to go deep in the tournament, that's another thing. What needs to happen between now and then to really get this team striding at the right time?
Well, I think you got to have front court impact. You go back
Yep.
and you look at the numbers of the game. And I'm not a big analytic guy, but one thing for sure, man, if you out rebound the team and you keep your turnovers to a minimum and you can get to the foul line, the ball's in your court, and you have that to your advantage. This team, I think, with the up and down roller coaster of this team and how it's going through the season, you need the guys like Fulkerson to step up. Not saying he has to go out and get a 20 and 10, but he got to go out and get 14 and 8
Yeah.
every night consistently. Pons continue doing his job. The guard play when they see junk defenses thrown at them, can't vomit up the ball and just give it to the team and give unforced turnovers. So taking care of the ball, man, I think all of that relies on them being focused in. It's the second half of the season, and we expect great things out of them. Now, I still think this is a team that goes to the Sweet 16, and once you get that deep into the tournament, things kind of take on a mind of their own, and you get momentum going, and you never know what can happen.
You're exactly right. I know we're just excited that March Madness is actually going to be back this year. As always, thank you for your great insight, Ron.
No doubt about it. Appreciate it, Kayla. Hey, salute. Happy Valentine's Day, too.
Yes, you as well.
No doubt.